And then the athleticism of realizing sometimes Josh Allen just banks on his athleticism to go make a play and not having to be perfect. And I think that was stripped a little bit from Mitchell in Chicago. And I believe that watching Josh Allen do it will kind of reignite that. And I would say this for Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, really it falls upon him to build their offense around RPOs, to build their offense around play action pass, and then to build their offense around bootlegs. If he does that, I'm a guy that thinks Mitchell Trubisky is talented enough to have a chance to be a good starter in the NFL. Yeah.
Not lost on me how easily a Dumb and Dumber line just rolled off your tongue. It was like very natural for you. Nina, do you think Mitch Trubisky is good enough to be a starter in the NFL?
I am a little more skeptical than Dan. Mitch Trubisky has already played a lot of football in this league since he came into the NFL in 2017. 42nd in yards per dropback, 43rd in off-target percentage, 33rd in passer rating. Not an optimal situation in Chicago, but arguably better than the one Justin Fields was in last year. That all said, I do agree with Dan that his athleticism was underused, and it's also fairly low risk for Pittsburgh. It's not a ton of money. This is a team that doesn't have a starting quarterback on their roster. They can invest in a reclamation project. I would hope, though, if I was a Steelers fan, that they would still consider drafting a quarterback and also, investing there.
See, I would agree with you in the potential to still draft somebody. I like the fact that the Pittsburgh doesn't have to draft somebody right now. That if the guy that they really like potentially falls to them, that they can still be aggressive and make the move to get him inside and draft him. But I would say this, like if Kenny Pickett's there, I would not make the move. Now, Malik Willis, yes, sir. It can't happen good enough.
Wait, Dan, really fast. Are you talking about then Malik Willis starting now ahead of Trubisky, or would that be more of a project? Because that's sort of the conversation is Malik Willis might need a little bit more development.
Yeah, I think it's a project, but, if he comes in and beats out Mitchell Trubisky for the job, then you've got a good player and a fallback plan, and you don't have to rush it. I would also say this, though. Respectfully, the guys that are in Pittsburgh, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool are way better than the guys that Mitchell Trubisky had in Chicago outside of Allen Robinson.
They have talent.
So I think that's a big deal.
I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm going to be with my sister MK on this one. Because I jumped in the Sam Darnold pool of life and I died. Okay?
I didn't say dude's going to win MVP.
I know, but I'm going to let I see the traits that you talk about with Mitch. You know me and you can fight about a quarterback, but I agree with what you're saying, especially since we saw Pittsburgh last year try to establish that ground game with Najee Harris, which is going to actually help Mitchell Trubisky. And look, I'm going to do the same thing for Mitchell Trubisky that I did for Sam Darnold, okay? Sam Darnold had Adam Gase. You have no shot,
right?
Okay? And Mitch was in Chicago. You have no shot. I'm gonna keep Nagy's name out of my mouth, except for that.
Except literally just said it.
All right? But here's the deal, like the reclamation of that. But also, like, you talk about the environment, like the Pittsburgh Steelers environment. Remember, this team went to the playoffs with Mason Rudolph.
Right.
So if you can get an upgrade from that, Mitchell Trubisky in a good spot.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.